Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly market update. This morning I've got Shay and Maddie with me. How are you this morning, guys?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Everyone survived our frosts and
My
cold
God.
starts last few days.
It's how brutal it is until it's here again.
Yeah, minus 3.9 on Sunday morning in Turnbull. So, yeah, that's a bit of a awakening that winter might be nearly here.
We've already had a couple of heat pumps not working first thing in the morning.
Yes.
The frost, so back to that.
Yes, back to that. Yeah. There was a nice dump of snow too, so it did look quite pretty on Sunday with the snow and the clear days. So it was
Something nice to come out of the cold.
That's right. Yeah. We might jump into property management, hey Maddie, and you can let us know what's been happening in the last week.
Fair bit actually. We still have 11 properties online, but they're probably 4 of those are subject to approved applicants. So we've had quite a few. We've had a fair bit of interest on some properties actually, and they're mainly there's 2 in Huonville, so we've got 106 Main Street in Huonville. That's up for 475 from memory.
Yes.
We've had 8 applications on that. We've already had 1 open home with 10 people come through, and already had another 9 people wanting to do it. And so that's a little bit higher than what we've been seeing. That amount of interest on that price point. Usually that's under 450 we get that amount of interest. So that's good.
Yeah,
it's great to see. Same goes for 3129 Main Street. That's up for 450, and we have been inundated with applications for that one. And people interested. So I think we have 17 people all up after another open home that have been through the property. Then on the other end of the scale, we have 18 Allison Street in the Greater Hobart area, and that's up for 585. And we have had 29 people come through that property.
Wow.
So very, very interesting. So we are seeing a little spike. I mean, it's not on every property that's priced over the 450 mark, but it just shows that the market is picking up a little bit, and we're getting a fair bit more interest on the higher end properties, which is great.
Cool. Yeah, that's really good to see.
So 11 properties sounds like it'll be back to about 5 or 6 in a couple of days.
Hope so.
Many people applying. And what about sales activity, Shay?
Yeah, it's been not too bad this week actually. So we had 3 open homes over the weekend. Some slower numbers about, but whether or not that comes down to the cold weather over the weekend, not too sure. We've been seeing lots of appraisals, which has been really encouraging. I mean, obviously coming up towards tax time, quite a few of it has been for bank purposes and things like that, which is pretty common around this time.
Increasing rental and sales appraisals combined as well, which has been good.
Really, really nice to see. And then in terms of offers, I think I said this last time as well, but we've definitely been seeing a few more offers kind of floating about as well, whether or not that's after everything's died down from the election, whether or not this is exciting news looking into today or tomorrow from a RBA perspective. Keep our fingers crossed with all of that. But it's been really nice to see a few more offers and things floating about. So really good.
Yeah, and I think that's potentially why there's probably a few less listings hitting the market over the last 2 or 3 weeks, is because of that sort of lag of less appraisals through Easter and the election, that kind of 3-week block. So a lot of those properties would have been on last week and this week, which there's just not as many hitting the market, where now there's probably more appraisals again. And with a little bit of an anticipation, we saw ANZ drop their rates last week, and the RBA meeting today and tomorrow. So by tomorrow afternoon, we'll see whether there's a change. And if there is a change, we expect a little bit more confidence to be through the market. There's certainly the supply and demand factors seem to be kind of shifting. So, and part of that is people are a little bit more confident. Part of it's also there's just a few less properties coming in. So the buyers per property sort of looking a little bit better than what they have been. So so it'll be interesting. A few weeks ahead of us, I think, to see. Might be a different winter, where it might not be one where people need to wait until the springtime. It might be one that it keeps gradually building through winter into spring this year. So if we see a rate cut or 2 there, so obviously if there's a rate cut, there's reasons, and this probably means the economy's not brilliant. But given that we've had sort of a decline and level period through the market, it's been a fair while now since the market was at a higher level. So I think it's probably a bit of recovery time ahead. But it's and from a rental side of things, that market's been good for the last year, really. So there's been a little bit more rental growth, and with the properties values have shrunk over the couple of year period, the return on investment in Tassie actually starting to look okay. So we're compared to other states where there's been that price growth and the rental price hasn't really changed much. You're kind of looking across the country now going, where do I see good returns and where do I see a growth period and things like that. So investors are likely to start looking at probably Hobart first and then the rest of Tassie after that. So if we keep an eye on that Hobart market, see what those investor type buyers are hitting the market, and if that investor lending and investor purchasing starts to increase, then we know that's probably what's ahead of us in the market. Some gains and rises and things across the board, I suppose. So yeah. All right, well, we'll let you go and everybody keep moving. And again, a few less opens this weekend, but lots of appraisals. So we're probably expecting a few more in a few weeks ahead, potentially. And yes, we'll let you enjoy the last few days of autumn and before the winter kicks in.
That deceiving sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.